Hey everyone, welcome to Section 1. In this section, we're going to look at environment setup, which is how to get an environment for programming with TensorFlow. Then we'll look at getting started with TensorFlow programming. Then we'll look at how to get data into the TensorFlow. We'll quickly look at understanding tenses and dimensionality, and finally, we'll get to building a model. So let's get started. In this video, we look at various ways of setting up a programming environment. We'll look at both cloud-based options as well as local options that you deploy on your computer. The first solution we'll look at is Google Colab. This is accessible via Google Drive. If you don't have a Google account, you'll need to create one. Open your browser, then Google Drive using the URL displayed on the screen. Once you're done, you'll have access to something called Jupyter Notebooks. Jupyter Notebooks have an interactive environment that lets you input and execute codes one after the other, unlike other environments where you execute an entire file at a time. Let's look at Google Colab. On my screen right now, we have Google Drive open. What you need to do is go to the New button on the left side of the window. Click on this New button, and you'll have an option at the bottom that says More. I moved my mouse to the More option. You can see another option has opened. We'll have a menu on the right, and I have my mouse pointer on the Collaboratory menu item. I clicked on that option, and I have what is called a Colab notebook open on the screen. At the top, you have the name of the notebook. In this case, it's called Untitled 0.IPyNB. That extension stands for a Python notebook. Directly under the name, you have menu items. Then you have a menu bar that lets you add code items as well as text items. The flash and mouse cursor shows a code entry. Now this code entry starts with an exclamation mark. The exclamation mark is an operating system instruction that is asking it to execute the command that comes after that. So for a cell that starts with an exclamation mark, the code is not executed by Python. Instead, it's executed by the operating system. Now our command is pip install tfnightly 2.0 preview. You can see a play button on the left. I have my pointer directly over the play button. Click on the play button and it'll execute the instruction, and the output is already shown on the screen. I decided to save time on this video by executing my instructions before reporting. And the very first line of the output that you see is collecting tfnightly 2.0 preview. After a while, you'll see the status of the code completion at the bottom. I browse to the bottom, and as you can see, the final line there is successfully installed and the name of whatever it was doing. Next, the code instruction is written in Python, and it's a simple import statement, and that is importance of TensorFlow as TF. Now to confirm that we have TensorFlow imported and the version we use a print command, and that print command is also Python command. If you go ahead and execute that, you'll see the outputs, which we have at the bottom of the screen. So that's all it takes to set up Google Colab for TensorFlow environment. The second solution is Microsoft Azure Notebooks. And like Google Colab, we also have Python notebooks. In this case, this is hosted by Microsoft. On the screen, I have Microsoft Azure Notebooks open. And Azure Notebooks uses the concept of projects. I'm in one project right now called TF20. You can see on the right of the screen, there's a menu where you are able to create a notebook, a folder, a blank file, or a markdown file. So essentially, this is like what you would have in the project folder, which you might upload into GitHub. For example, if you click on a notebook or if you create a new notebook, it'll be opened in a new tab. I've gone ahead and created a new notebook, and I've called it Getting Started. And like what we did with Google Colab, I filled it in with code and executed. The first thing I did was install TensorFlow using tfnightly. When the code is done executing, you'll see a success statement at the bottom. Then go ahead and import TensorFlow as TF and print out the TensorFlow version. And we can see that we have version 2, even though it's a developer release. Sometimes you don't want to work online either because you're in transit or you just don't have the option. You could set up an instance to work on your local computer. You need to have Python installed on any computer that you'd like to install TensorFlow on. TensorFlow itself has several dependencies which makes it difficult to share Python environments. One solution to this is using something that manages environments. Miniconda is smaller and more lightweight. It's best for resource-constrained environments. Anaconda is more resource-intensive. However, it comes with a desktop app that lets you create environments and install applications. On my screen is the website for Miniconda, where you have the option of installing the version for either Python 3.7 or Python 2.7 for either Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. Follow the instructions on the site to get your system up. On the screen is the site for Anaconda. And like Miniconda, you have installations for Windows, Mac, and Linux for both Python 2 and 3. Follow the instructions on the site to get your system up. If you install Anaconda, you'll have something called Anaconda Navigator, which is what I have here. Navigator gives you access to environments as well as applications. I went ahead and opened the Environments tab. You can see in the middle I have different environments set up. To the right, you can see the packages I have in the active environment. The active environment is highlighted in green. It's called tf_2_0_preview. The green arrow provides options, and you can see that one of the things you could do is open a terminal where you could start typing Python commands back on the home. We see the applications that are available either already installed or available to install to the right. One of those is called Jupyter Notebook. My mouse is over there now. If it's not installed, you'll have the option of installing it. If it's already installed, you have the option of launching. If you go ahead and click the button, it'll launch a browser with the Jupyter Notebooks application running. I click the button, and this is what you should see. You'll have a Jupyter Notebook environment running. And to the right of the screen, you should have a button that says New. I went ahead and clicked on the New button, and one option that I have is to create a notebook in Python 3. If you go ahead and click on that, then a new table opens up. I went ahead and clicked on the new notebook. As you can see, we have a Jupyter Notebook that looks very similar to what we already have on Google Colab, as well as Microsoft Azure. Congratulations! At this point, you have a working version of TensorFlow installed on your system. Now we have a working environment, so it's time to take a look at TensorFlow. It's simplifying it for us, which is what we'll be doing in the next video. See you there!